your seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr bringing topics of all kinds, from cigars to sports, family and more. Everyday stories you'll want to explore. So take a puff or ponder away. Join the talk, it's the highlight of your day. Puff and ponder where the sparks ignite. Conversations blazing day or night. Tune in now, let the stories take flight. It's the Puff and Ponder podcast, where we get it right. From fast cars to last night's game, family laughs or today's big name. We've got the topics, we've got the vibe. Stay tuned in and enjoy the ride. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. Relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. Oh, hesitate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. Man, that's down to the wire, Karen.
I
got my three.
You can hear
What?
me, right?
No, barely.
Seriously, you were just telling me earlier you can hear me just fine. Oh.
Yeah, no. Now I can barely hear you.
All right. Well, hold on. This shenanigans, this ridiculousness is coming to an end, Kevin.
Yeah. What's going on, JJ Jambalaya?
Jambalaya.
Colby, what's going on? Henry G. So, all right.
Better?
So, yeah, better. Say something else.
Cha cha cha. 1, 2, 3. Cha cha cha.
Yeah, definitely better. So, like I said, no bass in your voice, like I was telling you before the show, but we can hear you at
I
least.
understand. I didn't change anything. I mean, I just moved. I got my headset back on, but maybe I just need to. Maybe I need to have a bass to your voice. But I got to crack. You cracked me up earlier because you come up. You're like, Kerr, and the timer's going off in 1 minute and 43 seconds. Hit go, and then hit the intro. I go, all right, cool. What you want me to get? Yeah, and in 1 minute and 34 seconds, what I need you to do is hit go, start, and then hit the promo. I said, all right, I gotta go back. In 1 minute and 24 seconds, I'm like, Kevin, I get it. It's a fucking clock that winds down. When it gets to 0, I hit start. But every time you freaking got interrupted, you'd have to pick up where that freaking clock was left off. I was like, I wonder how much longer I could have done that. Just been like, well, Kevin, in 38 seconds.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle of Jessica didn't get my message earlier today because when I'm at work, she swaps out my printer. Both my 3D printers were doing a gigantic job for Abe over at Smoke Inn, and it's got to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get this job done. And so she's in charge. So earlier today, I messaged her. I go, hey, change out the printers, but don't change them again, because I have to do a quick print before I get home. Well, she didn't see my message for like an hour, so that got all messed up. So, because right in between of doing this giant job, I have to stop it for a few hours, one of the printers, and then do a prototype for someone else. And it's we were talking about it last night because I'm getting a third one at the end of the year.
Oh,
and it's already. Like I have a fan blowing from the lounge into my office because the office is about 30 degrees warmer. So I got to figure something else out. I mean, the heat that those printers generate, and then I got my computer in there. I got or both my towers in there, all my printers. It's a little warm.
Freaking sweatbox, man.
It gets a little warm in there at times. So luckily we're coming into the fall season. But let's I need a cigar. I've been home for a few hours. I haven't had a cigar yet.
Are you serious? Poor Kevin.
Yeah. I just I'm not I am going to smoke the all new, because today starts Bricktoberfest for JC Newman Cigar. So I am smoking the 2025 Bricktoberfest. It's got a little pigtail on it. It's like a big Churchill or extra long Churchill. And this year we got another Stein, but we got a lid.
Yeah.
We got a lid on the Stein this year. So beautiful adornment with the barn, Bricktoberfest, JC Newman. So if you go to jcnewmancigars.com, obviously you can't buy from their website, but there is a retailer finder. So all you need to do is buy 10 Brick House cigars. You don't even have to buy the new Bricktoberfest, but they do come in boxes of 10. So if you buy any 10 Brick House cigars, you get the Brick House Stein for free.
I love that Stein. I love the lid on it.
Yeah, it was a really cool. And it was funny. I was just watching how it's made the other night, because I've often seen those Steins, and I'm like, oh, how do they get that lid on there? You know, or like the little class. And I saw exactly how I'm like, that is genius. And then the next day, the Stein shows up.
Nice.
So
I listen to myself on X, and my voice still sounds as James Earl Jones as possible. So
okay,
I think it's just your microphone or your headset.
No, because you were fine before all this. What are you smoking, Kerr?
I am smoking a Stogie Road cigars, the Sweetgrass Gringo. I'm smoking the lovely Robusto Magnifico.
All right, perfect.
So we
all right,
go ahead.
Yeah, before we get into tonight's topic, let's hear a little word, because I think once we start going, and I'm gonna forget. So one of our partners of the show, Fogbox.
Let's be real. Most travel cigar cases look the same. Black, boring, forgettable. But Fogbox, they're doing it different. Every Fogbox travel case and lighter features custom hydro dip graphics, from bold patterns to badass designs that pop. These aren't just tools, they're statements. Whether you're at a lounge, a campsite, or on the beach, Fogbox gear stands out while keeping your cigars protected and fresh. Plus, the quality is rock solid. Airtight, rugged, and built to handle wherever you take it. If you're still carrying around the same black, plain cigar case everyone else has, it's time for an upgrade. Visit fogbox.com and grab something as unique as your cigar taste. That's fogbox.com. Built to travel, designed to stand out.
All right, I need that little breather. Whew.
You were not everybody knows you hit the ground running. You know, after the show started, you kind of jumped in and did everything else, and you know, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, there's the elephant in the room, but
first of all, what's on your hat? What is the logo on your hat?
I'm sure some people will say this is I don't know. This is this is a hat that I picked up at, I think the kids bought it for me probably like 10 years ago at a Dollar General. So it almost kind of looks like a deer hoof, right? But then it almost looks like a Cylon, something to do with some symbol to do with Battlestar Galactica. But no, it's just a nice little benign trucker hat.
All right,
it fits great. So Kevin, Ohio State again. I had to laugh at you with your message in Bullies. Like the first quarter, it was a nail biter. I was like, "Shut the fuck up, Kevin."
It was. I mean,
you're playing freaking the Ohio freaking Community College. It was not a nail biter.
The Ohio the Bobcats. The Bobcats were the defending MAC champions from last year.
But you're the Ohio State University. Yeah. So that's my point. I had to chuckle at you with your nail biting moment.
I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm always nervous at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I know. And Rocky, what's up? Mike Rockdashel. Yes, Clemson and Syracuse Saturday. I got to tell you, there's a few things I have to say about college football before we get into our other topics. But one, Clemson was just it was like the Penn State of and Notre Dame. They're just over. They were over. They their ranking did not really reflect where they should have been. They were overrated team. Um, they're Clemson. Clemson gets you some sort of ranking, and they shit the bed on Saturday. Um, Georgia, I told you the two games that were really the ones that I was looking at was the Georgia Tennessee game, and they squeaked it out, and Notre Dame Texas A&M, and that game was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I kept every now and then, like I said, I would flip back or keep up on my phone, and that looked like a really good game.
Dude, that they scored that touchdown, and they lined up for the extra point and flubbed it, and they went down, and Texas A&M just seemed like they would kept shooting themselves in the foot. They ran back the kickoff, holding, freaking marched down the field, off, whatever it was. I can't remember if it was not offsides, false start. Just one after another. Then they fourth down, they tossed the ball into the corner, into the tight end, caught the ball. It was. And I don't like Notre Dame, so it made it even better. It was a great game. It was even better that it was Notre Dame. So
yeah, exactly. What's going on, brother Derek?
And I really felt like Tennessee had the opportunity to win and up their ranking. South Carolina, University of South Carolina blew it as well.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to really kind of seize. I think they could have been in the top 10 or at least close to it. But Texas A&M is rounding off the top 10 at number 10. Then Illinois. Texas is 8. Florida State, Barry, Bones. I have my retribution 7th. Oregon is at 6, Georgia 5, Miami, Florida popped up to 4th, LSU 3, Penn State still holding strong at number 2 with their longest win streak against unranked teams. You bunch of freaking bums. And then you have The Ohio State University number 1.
Yes, Penn State with their joke fucking schedule, but
listen, I say you bums just because I like that. I never liked Penn State, and ever since that whole thing went down with with
Paterno and
what's his face,
it's sad because we have a hard time remembering his name, and then Paterno's not the one that did the deeds, but I mean, obviously, he was overseeing it, and he had to have overlooked a lot of stuff.
You're worse than being. I mean, there's some folks that would argue that if you know what's going on, you say nothing. You're guilty. And they killed his record. They wiped 5-10 years off his record. I mean, off of his wins. I mean, it was terrible.
It was nuts. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
But there was some good football. There was some good program, good pro games on Sunday. I said I guaranteed I was going to be watching the Eagles this season. In honor of my dad, he's a big Eagles fan. They beat the Chiefs as a rematch from the Super Bowl. Kelsey was having a good game, and then he had a chance to freaking catch the touchdown, and he fumbled the ball. I think he heard a little bit of footy steps and did not want to get hit. Bobbled it, gave up an interception. But what a great game.
Yeah, my Dolphins sucked it up again. Joe Burrows is out for 3 months with the Bengals, toe surgery.
I know. I saw a meme that said, how with all the 300-pound people around, why can't
the 300 million obese Americans and we can't find a couple of them to protect Joe Burrows?
Find 5 to protect Joe Burrows.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a great one.
That's it. So yes, a lot of good games, lots of good videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube that have been making me chuckle. Some been making me sad, some been making me chuckle, but there is nothing I like more than watching some pink hair woman with a face full of piercings crying on TikTok because she got fired from her job for making fun of somebody getting killed. That is, I've spent a few days reveling in that disaster, which is those people.
The actual, like you said, I mean, this is all the byproduct of it, right? But at the end of the day, you know, it, and I'm not very big into the unfriending thing because what annoys me more is when people, and if some of you've done this, take it with a grain of salt because it's coming from me, but making the announcement, if you believe Charlie Kirk, then unfriend me. It's like I don't like to
I
make announcements, or I just unfriended 35 people, dude.
yeah
Just I unfriended a few people.
yeah
And I'm a very, very laid back, tolerable person of seeing stuff that I don't agree with because I believe in free speech. I just keep scroll along, right? But man, when you are literally in either outright celebrating someone getting killed, or you're in that fucking lane right next to it, getting close to it, and you're not fooling anybody by what you're saying and how you're freaking weaving in and out of your sentences. I have no tolerance for people like that. That is
yeah
for me just
same here, and I wholeheartedly believe in the first. I believe in all the amendments, but our First Amendment, the right to say whatever we want, wherever we want, whenever we want, is one of our basic, things. It's what we hold. It's what we do better than everybody else. But as an employer, that your employer also has the right to not agree with you and to sever ties with you because they don't like what you comment. So, I hope people going forward remembers that, hey, yeah, you're allowed to say whatever you want, but your employer also has the right to do. Not every state. I know South Carolina and Florida, we're both right to work states. We don't need a reason to fire you. Just get out.
yeah.
Get out.
I mean, there's a lot of states like that, but I've seen this argument a lot, and here's where you get into this ridiculous back and forth, and I got a couple of bones to pick, especially when it comes to um, a lot of the posts that I've seen. But you know, yeah, it's freedom of speech, like you said, right? And I've seen a few people say, well, his speech is what ended up, put him in that position that led to his assassination. I'm like, fucking dude, shut up. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, um, you could. I look at it from a position of, I no, you shouldn't kill, and nobody deserves that. I don't care what your, this freedom of speech is part of your right as an American, and no matter how much you disagree with someone or don't like what they're saying, that's their right. Um, I'm also seeing a lot of videos coming out and popping up on the dispelling the myth of some of the things that they accused them of, right? And
Yes.
and I was never a big. I didn't watch Charlie Kirk a lot. I wasn't one of those guys who, um, you know, um, I wasn't like subscribed to to any of his podcast web, to YouTube or anything else like that. But I'd see videos, and I was always interested in what he had to say because me personally, I respected the fact that the guy had a strong belief, and I always teach my kids this too. You have a strong belief, you stand your ground on your belief, but always give someone the microphone who opposes your belief and listen to what they have to say. Listen to them, 100%. Give them that moment. Treat them like a human being. Be respectful, and if they're not respectful back, continue. You control what how you are. You're not going to be able to control them. So to give someone the microphone and the platform to speak their mind in opposition of yourself, I think that is really where again, we talked about before, we've lost the ability to have a disagreement. We've lost the ability to have a debate. And one of the guys who I really think was very good at it and respectful at it, in my opinion, you know, he got shot for it. And you got a bunch of folks spinning the yarn over his hate speech. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And it's like, I, I'm a pretty objective guy. And if someone has some hate speech, if someone has some anti this speech, anti that speech, I'm going to pick up on it. And I'm going to be like, nah, I'm not cool with that. I may disagree with some folks, but I'm not into the whole hate speech thing, but to hear how they spin a lot of what he was saying when it came to specific topics, I think is dangerous. And I think if there's any speech that led to this, it's the rhetoric, and I think a lot of the freaking BS is being spewed on a regular basis. I do.
Yeah, I agree. I subscribe to Charlie. I didn't watch a lot of his Turning Point USA stuff channel. I watch a lot of podcasts, like on my way to work. Like a
Yeah.
3-hour podcast will take me 3 days to watch it. 15, 20 minutes on the way to work, 15, 20 minutes on the way home, maybe a few minutes at work. So if he was being interviewed by one of my favorite people, I always watched. And I'm just finished up the one he did on the Jubilee channel. I agree with everything he says. No, probably not 50% of what he says. I didn't agree, because that 50% is a lot to do with religion and religious beliefs. And he really, almost, I don't know, borderline fundamentalist Christian, if that's even, I don't want to say that as a negative term, but he was diehard. He was,
What do you mean by a fundamentalist?
I don't know. I hate to,
You know what that word means, Kevin.
It's and that's why I hate to say that word, but it seems like a lot of what he talked about, and it just always came back to God, no matter what. He is, and I respected him for that, and I listened. Did I always agree with it? Not at all, but I did agree with a lot of his stuff, and he kind of changed my mind on some things when it comes to like IVF and abortion, and I'm always back and forth on that issue, of a woman's right versus I look at it from when conception began. I don't know, I think he swayed me a little bit towards his side, but on politics, I was definitely on his side with on the political side, for sure.
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, sometimes I find it really hard to articulate, especially in the moment. But I feel from watching it and actually seeing a lot of the now looking back at some of these interviews, he was a deep rooted Christian. He truly was, and he was. One of the things I've seen, and I've seen it frequently, but I've seen it recently, was he was talking to a student that claimed to be a Christian and was yelling and screaming at someone else, and he said, "You said you're a Christian, right?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "That don't act the way you're acting," because when you take a look at, there's a difference between, in my opinion, I think there's a big difference between the folks who say they're Christian and people who are religious, right? You have different sects, right? Catholicism, Methodist, Protestant, Lutheran, whatever. But I think he was a true, deep-rooted Christian, which was, I believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, and here's how he taught his people. Here's how he lived his life, and this is how I'm going to live my life. And one of the things that he said is that Jesus loves everyone. And just because you love someone doesn't mean you got to agree with them. I'll disagree with you. He's like, "Hey, I don't believe in XYZ. I'll disagree with you. Doesn't mean I don't love you. And I'm not, and just by agreeing with you and pacifying you is not a sign of love. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to give you my point of view. I'm going to back up my points of view, and I'm going to back up my, the reason why I feel the way I do. And if at the end of that conversation, if I haven't swayed you, haven't swayed me, at least we had a good interactive conversation. You may have learned a little bit about it if it's done the right way, and then you part your ways, and you kind of picked up something." And he was in the UK talking to a young lady. I think the young lady asked him a question like, "What would you ask yourself?" To kind of stump you. And he actually kind of spun it. And he's like, "Look," he said, "I would advise you, if he goes, you have your beliefs, be very strong in it, deep rooted. Educate yourself on what you believe in. don't say you believe in something and then have nothing to back it up, because then it's really, you find it really hard to kind of have deep rooted belief systems and structure. He said, but educate yourself on the opposite view. Read this book, read that book. He started rattling off all these books. He said, because I'll tell you what, I read all the books and I read everything about what you believe in. And I know, in many cases, I know more about your beliefs, than you do. And that's how you can have an intelligent conversation with someone, because you not only know, and you're educated in your core, but you also can understand and relate to someone because of your knowledge of what they believe in. And I think that's really the one area that is very divisive now. It's just, if you're either for me, if you're not with me, you're against me. If you're not this, then you're that. If you don't believe here, you're that. If you're not a Republican, then if you're not a Democrat, then you're here. And there is no like, hey, well, you just really start creating these very strong lines, and you're drawing these very strong lines without any context or anything, or even knowing the person. Most people that you talk to, you're going to realize, we talk about this being at a cigar lounge. You talk to folks, you don't talk religion, you don't talk politics. You find out you got about 90% commonality. You got some pretty high commonality with a lot of people, but
Oh yeah.
don't let that 10% be toxic. Don't let that 10, and that's the problem, is that when you allow that to be toxic, that's toxicity from the inside coming out. And then you wanna project that and say it's the other person, when in reality that's internal. And I was really, really upset. I don't get upset by, they celebrity deaths. Ozzy died. That's sad. Ozzy was great. Go Ozzy. But it wasn't like I sat around and mourned Ozzy's loss. It sucked.
Yeah.
This guy, getting assassinated, knowing he's got a family, knowing he died the way he did, and why he was assassinated. It does take us back to JFK, Martin Luther King, Jr., Medgar Evers,
Malcolm
RFK,
X,
Malcolm X,
RFK,
all these guys, all these individuals who are, I think that George Carlin said it best, is, anybody who's been outspoken, Jesus, if you really want to get back
yeah.
to the religious part, anybody who comes out and says you need to love one another, we need to communicate, they're the ones who get silenced. And I think as an overall, as a whole, as a human, not race, not religion, not sex, not gender, whatever as humanity as a whole, if that doesn't resonate with you, then I think you need to do a little self-assessment.
Exactly. Josephus, if you saw the video, I did not see the video. I went out of my way to not watch the video, went out of my way to slap the phone away from people that shoved it in my face, because I knew what they were going to show me. So
I watched it once. I watched it once because I got the text and I heard that he got shot, and I saw the far away video, right? And the far away video just looked bad enough, right?
Yeah. I saw the far away where all you saw was him move, and then
you saw his shirt ripple and everything. And then Jen sent me the message. She goes, "Joe sent this to me." She goes, "I think it's AI. I don't think this is real." And I watched it and I fucking stopped it and I said, "That's real. That's horrific." And I there was no way I was going to watch it again. It turns my stomach to watch that. 100%. And
yeah, I was put in a couple of group chats, and then people like they create these chats, and then that's the video they show, and instantly left the chat. I made that post on Facebook. I go, if you feel the need after watching that to think to yourself, oh, all my friends should see this, and then start sending that video, you should think maybe like deep down inside, maybe take a look. If I don't, if people, like I said, if people want to go out and watch it because they want to, I have no problem with that at all. You want to see it, that's fine.
I get it.
But if you think that, yeah, this guy Kevin, who I follow on social media, I should send it to him. I think he might like this. No.
Like you said, some people got to watch it. For whatever reason, they have to watch it, and whatever. But at the end of the day, man, it was horrible. It's heart wrenching. The people that are coming out and are celebrating it, they disgust me. Um, and 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 what's funny is whenever you have someone who comes out and says this is horrible, this is whatever, and then anybody who's happy about it is disgusting, they want to start putting labels on you. I'm like, the only label that you can put on me is that I'm a fucking human being and I have respect for human life. If that's what you're gonna, if that's what you're gonna label me with, to try and shame me into saying that you're a fucking moron for celebrating something like this, you're a moron for even weaving in and out of the lanes of freaking justifying it, then fine, label me. Don't label me a freaking Republican. Don't label me a MAGA. Don't label me a Trumpster. Don't label me whatever freaking bullshit you want to try and label on me. Don't, because it's not going to stick, because I'm fucking me. You want to label me a human being. You want to label me a Christian, someone who loves people, who believes that you need to treat people with respect, who believes in freaking what we were taught as Christians and what Jesus taught us, which is you must love one another as I have loved you. If that's a bad message, then the problem is you, not me. It just it's that simple. If you don't believe in religion, you don't believe in Christianity, that's fine. I have no problem with you. Again, I treat you based off of you being a human. It's humanity. But these are my beliefs. Do not try and shame me into anything else. And at the end of the day, if you really believe that this was a good thing, the problem's you. It is. It just is.
Yeah, that's it. You said earlier, try and listen to the other people, listen to their beliefs, what they stand for. Maybe you'll learn something. And that's why, half of my feed on TikTok is Christian talk. I follow a lot of Christian people. I love listening to them talk, listening to them explain why they are the way they, or why they believe the way they believe. Sometimes
you're like me with jazz. Like, I don't like jazz, but I'll listen to it. And I'm like, you're like that with Christianity. You don't believe it.
Because I just can't, I'm the type of person, I don't believe that. That's just silly. A God? That's just silly. And then it's like, and then how can you understand where other people are coming from that do believe in God? So when they say something or do something, it's like, oh, hey, I know their beliefs. Oh, I know their belief system. So I kind of understand where they're coming from. So, but, I don't know. I listened a little bit of the Charlie Kirk show today. Probably take me a couple of days to get through it. JD Vance was hosted the show for the first time back, and the one thing that he had said that a lot of people have been saying for a while, they're gonna get to the bottom of who's causing this, and it's in my opinion,
it's not a deep dig.
But my opinion, it's the George Soros, those types of groups that are just interjecting money into these. I don't know, because we've never seen this. We've never seen this before. And these kids, you look at this kid, this shooter, you look at him before college, and I know he dropped out of college, and he was going through an apprenticeship for electrical. But if you looked at him in high school, and you talk to, you hear the stories from his friends and family, your average kid, his parents were conservative, but then something changed, and you saw him in a protest with a mask on, and it's just like, man, what happened? Who got
that? Should be telling, right? That should be very telling, because
who's getting in this kids' heads?
Well, because the arguments are like, I actually saw somebody say this, read it and saw someone say, well, he came from a conservative, religious family. These are the people who are really. I'm like, well, but something changed along the way. Something did impact him. And to be honest with you, I read somewhere like, he was living with a trans person. And I'm like, who cares? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Who cares? That means that has 0.0, in my opinion, that has 0.0 to do with what's going on. That is just someone on the right or someone trying to add more fuel to the fire, because it's not necessary. I'll call it the way I fucking see it. I don't care whether you're right, left, middle, straight, gay, freaking, you live on a roof, you live in a freaking mansion, I could care less. I really don't. I really don't. I have learned from I learn from everybody. I respect the positions and folks' feelings, but when I see something like that, I'm like, dude, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
And
you're grasping. You're pushing.
100%.
You're pushing him over to the other side. You're like, see, he's your problem. He's your
Right.
problem.
Well,
You
it's
know,
what they say. What comedian said? Oh, I think it was Bill Maher said. He goes, that, don't every time that there's a freaking shooting or there's some sort of freaking mishap or something that happens. I say mishap is a fucking gross understatement. I apologize. Anytime you see a tragedy or a shooting or something, you said, don't you for like a minute go, gosh, I hope it was one of ours. Like
yeah.
like the right and left.
There was an SNL skit on that, and they were like the news, and it was like another shooting in Chicago, and they apprehended like two like Caucasian males, and then like the black reporters like, woo!
Oh yeah, they were keeping shite. Like there was a mass shooter, and I think it was, I can't remember his name, Keaton. Keaton's like, I think that's one of yours. And then they say the name, and he's like, oh damn. Yeah, that's a funny skit, but it's but it kind of delves into kind of some of these things. And what's the real question here? What is the chance that Charlie was taken out by the government? Anyone that's gotten too influential opposed has been involved. I mean, listen,
what is the chance Charlie was taken out by government? Anyone that's gotten too influential in the past have been unalive for not following the script. I would say, I'd say zero chance. I have been watching a few things, because they called the kid a sniper, and or did he really take the shot? And I was watching a video earlier today, and it was a podcast, and they had on 3 military snipers, and they and all of them said, like 200 yards, you should be able to pick out which nostril you're going to go for. 200 yards is a pot shot for a sniper. So no,
and this was not professional. He would have found shade, to block his silhouette, the whole 9 yards by those professional snipers. Yeah. I mean, I heard something that was pretty interesting. And again, I hate seeing it on either side, Republicans or Democrats or even the independents. But so if you think about it, this kid's 22, right? For 10 years, it's been this nonstop from the media. Boom, boom. Like Trump or not, whatever, but it's just been nonstop. He's evil. He's freaking he's Hitler. He's evil. He's
Hitler. He's Hitler.
And I'm sorry. I have disliked a lot of political figures, both on the right and the left, and for damn good reasons. However, in my opinion, damn good reasons. I think if you are going to start, when you start using Hitler, I think first of all, it's not responsible. First and foremost. Secondly, I also think it waters down to the atrocities that Hitler and the Nazi regime freaking and the freaking millions of people that they freaking that they eliminated. I think it really, when you're going, really Trump's Hitler, really are you familiar with what Hitler did? Really? I think it's irresponsible. I think it's ridiculous and absurd. I don't think that there's any political figure in the U.S. right now that you could even equate to that. Yeah, there's some really bad people. There's some real scumbags. There's some real freaking people that are like, man, they should be gone. They should have gone away, whatever. But really, I think when you start getting into that realm and you start using that and you start hearing it on every nightly news, morning, noon, and night, you open up Yahoo News. You open up Google News, you go to MSNBC, CNBC, blah, 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 at CNN. It's just nonstop. You're like, dude, listen,
there's other news. Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart.
It's enough,
the other guy with the weekly show. But yeah, it's I haven't watched them in a month because
I love Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, I always love Jon.
Yeah, they used to throw in like once a month there'd be a make fun of Trump night, or once every couple weeks, and then I would just not watch that episode because I don't want to watch politics, not because he's making fun of Trump. I just don't care enough about politics. But then they would always have other topics that I would love, like, oh, let's dive into why one company owns every eyeglass center in the country. Like,
Right.
well, I want to hear about that, and that's fascinating. That's fascinating to me. But yeah, I just John Oliver. That's the other one last week tonight.
Yeah.
I haven't watched John Oliver in a month because every thumbnail is about Trump, and it's just like,
But I even appreciate good political humor. I do. I think it's
do.
funny. Saturday Night Live was classic for being able to do. I mean, they picked on Carter, they picked on Ford, they picked on Reagan, they picked on Clinton. I mean, they picked on Bush. They always did such a wonderful job of and it's good political humor. It wasn't this ridiculousness that you're saying.
It wasn't an hour straight of it.
No, it's like, and some of the dumbest shit that comes out of these people's mouth, and I'm like, how much money does this person make? I mean, you could pay me a lot of money. I can say stupid shit. I don't look as good, but I can guarantee I could probably say it with a little bit better conviction and belief. But I don't. I get so sick of hearing it, and it just gets so repetitive, and it's so predictable, that I think it's starting to lose its luster. It
is,
in certain areas. But I do think, think about this kid for 10 years. Boom, boom, boom. You're getting ear fucked for 10 years. It's going to take its toll. And you said they're going to start digging into and find. I don't think they need to dig too deep. I think people know what's going on. I think most people do know what's going on and where it's coming from.
I think the government does know. I think they know exactly what's going on, who's behind it, and why aren't they putting a stop to it? Why aren't they just stopping the money? And that's what it is. It's at these rallies where, like we've talked about before, a pallet of bricks shows up. It's like, we can't backtrace.
That sign doesn't look too spontaneous to me. There's a spontaneous. Well, I don't know. It looks pretty good.
Exactly. What and it's just the government has turned a blind eye to this for a long time, and now we got to put a stop to it. We've got to put a stop to whoever is pulling the strings of these kids. These fucking children is what they are, because they obviously can't think for themselves. These kids are, the 24 to, or the 21 to 24, 25, which is like, 13-year-olds, they're adolescents still, not back when we were 24, 25, married, had kids, or had a house and jobs and shit. And,
you see my pictures. I looked like I was 30 since I was 17.
Yeah.
I was 30 from the age of 17 to 40. I just think, as we were hitting on earlier, is, whether you agreed with them or not, I always felt that out of a lot of the folks that you see on these tours, these talking tours or whatever the hell they are on both sides, he was one that really, in my opinion, I think, genuinely wanted to have a dialogue, whether you agreed with him or not. I think he did everything he could to go out of his way. I think the things that they accused him of, I have not honestly and objectively found a single full audio clip, not one that's diced and sliced, a full audio clip with context that says that he was some of the things that he was accused of.
The racist, some of these black people, reporters, and he hated us, and I'm like, I've been listening to Charlie for a long time. Like, I'm gonna need you to dig that clip up of him, a full clip.
Don't cherry pick.
And then you had. Did you watch the clip of Don Lemon on the street trying to find black people that would say something bad about Charlie? And then they had this one black woman, and she didn't like Charlie Kirk. She didn't believe in a lot of his views, and she wasn't taking Don Lemon's bait. He's like this. She's like, this was a tragedy. Like this shouldn't have happened.
It's a good human being, regardless of race. It's a good human being.
Don Lemon's like,
the value in the human life.
yeah, Don was like, well, he didn't like us, like us black folk, and she's like, I'm not judging the guy for that, and she refused to take Don Lemon's bait, and I'm like, you piece of shit. No wonder Elon fired you. No wonder CBS or whoever fired you. Then Elon fired you. Get the fuck out of here.
You're pandering for a soundbite is what you're doing, and again, it speaks to the person. It's as I said before, with watching what he did preach about, and when you talk about religion and Christianity, and being a Christian is you follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, and it is very simple. It's love one another. You control how you respond and how you react. You're talking about whether you believe that he was real, enough evidence to prove that, but whether you believe that he was who he says he was. The guy he loved people. He forgave people during a time when they were, where women were thought as less than. He congregated with women. He basically, when they were getting ready to stone one of the prostitutes, he said, "You without sin, cast the first rock." And he looked at her and said, "Now go on, my child, and sin no more." That's love. He was hanging from the cross and asked God to forgive the people who freaking nailed him and hung him up there. So, that's real love. That's what there's a. I can't remember the specifics, but back when in Jesus' time, they were always trying to trip him up. The Sadducees and the Pharisees, they're always trying to trip him up, trying to get him to say something that they could basically nail him for being blasphemous and get rid of him. And they had one of their spies go into one of Jesus's, he was preaching, and they said, "Hey, teacher, rabbi," they called him. They said, "What's the greatest law? What's the greatest law that we know?" And there's so many different laws. Um, um, that if you pick one over the other, they can find that loophole to say, "Oh, well, you're saying this one's better than this one. That's blasphemous, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
And that's what Jesus said, love God with all your heart, with all your mind, all your soul, and love one another, as I loved you, and treat each other as you would want to be treated. And those simple words basically covered every single law. The guy went back to the Sadducees and Pharisees. They said, "Well, did you get him?" He's like, "Nah, guys, you gotta do a little bit better than that, because he's definitely slick." And I say that in a joking way, but I mean that's what I said when I say watching someone like a true Christian. They love people. They want to hear from folks, and I think that's what that guy was doing. I think he really was trying to um,
It-
engage people, because he saw that that as a country we were really sliding into this us and them groups, and if we didn't start having
yeah.
open dialogue and engaging with people that who vehemently oppose you, that it was going to get worse and worse and worse. And he
Yeah.
pushed that, and he
And
promoted that. And one more thing,
it,
Kevin, that really
that's
cracked
it.
there's one more thing that really that got to me, is that um, you know his 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 he was shot while having dialogue with people, who were opposing him. There was someone asked about shootings. He's actually having a dialogue about some about religion and about Christianity when he got shot. So I think it
Yeah.
was the real deal, and I don't think that this was a good thing for anybody across the board, whether you're right, left, or what have you. I think it's a horrible thing for humanity. And the one thing that I read that actually kind of made me stop and take pause was, he wasn't killed for what he said. He was killed because people were listening.
Yeah.
And it's a sad day. I think it's a sad day because of his assassination. I think it's even worse when people pile on and they start celebrating. And I've seen some comments, man, from people that I'm like, you're reading about doctors making comments, nurses, teachers, um, freaking chaplains. I've seen comments from
Y-
hospice chaplains, and I'm going,
y-
fucking seriously?
Yeah, it's you just saw that girl from the University of Texas get arrested for assault, and at the vigil, and then she got suspended or got expelled from college, and then now she's got a felony assault on her record. This 18-year-old girl, just trying to whatever it is, she was trying to incite whatever at this little vigil, and it just for the rest of her life, she's gonna have a felony assault on her record, expelled from college. It's just
was it well thought out? Was it well thought out?
Probably yeah. What was it well thought out? And those and that group on that side, and I hate to say that side, but I watched these, like I was watching the one on Jubilee with it was Charlie Kirk versus 25 LGBTQ plus participants, and every now and then there was like you could, because on there there's a group of people and they all have flags. If they're not liking where the conversation is going, if the majority of people hold up their flags, they stop the conversation, and that person has to stop talking to Charlie, and they go back out in the group and they have a countdown and people.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So there was a couple times, more than a couple times, a half a dozen times before even the first half, where he almost was getting that person to think a little bit about like, like you could almost see it in their eyes, like maybe he's right. And then all of a sudden, every flag goes up. Stop the conversation right here. Yeah. You're not allowed to go any further. Yeah. Stop and get someone else in. It was like tag team wrestling. Hey, he's not doing good. Let's get someone else in here to challenge Charlie. And the same thing. It was one after another. And the main thing I always say, he's just always tries to get people, these young kids to think for themselves. And, the one thing, it was and it was the definition. There's one young girl I saw at one of the colleges. She came up, she identified, she goes, I identify as queer. And then she started, he goes, hold on a second. He goes, I don't know what that means. He goes, when I was growing up, if you called someone queer, that was derogatory. Like you got in trouble for that. And I remember that you can't call someone queer.
No. I remember seeing this dialogue.
Yeah. And she couldn't define it. It's like, it's like a feeling. And he's like, that's, he wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it. It's just a feeling, and it was just, just getting her to try and think, hey, if you're going to try and challenge people and have these conversations, you kind of need to have your ducks in a row and be able to, like when people, he used to ask a million times, what is a woman? Define a woman. And it was just, people can't do it. These kids can't do it, and it's just.
Well, I think the one thing that's always misunderstood, and just to let everybody know, in the next 10 minutes, we're going to be bringing on a special guest who is going to pivot this conversation. But the one thing I noticed too is when he had dialogue with everybody, whether it was a conversation on DEI, conversation on the LGBTQ plus community, race, religion. At least what I saw was a lot of seeking to understand. Like you said, he asked, what does that mean? And asking questions of someone, not to try and make them look stupid, not to try and make them look bad, but it was genuine questions on seeking to understand, and then also having that person articulate why they believe in what they believe. Because as he told that young lady in the UK, know your principles, know your beliefs, know where they come from, understand where they come from, and then also know the opponents, know what the opposite side believes, understand where their principles and beliefs come from. Because at that point, you can have an open dialogue. You can actually stand very tall and firm with your beliefs against someone like him or someone else. And at the end, actually have an articulate reason why. Hey, there's some folks who are just not going to be able to articulate it well, and I appreciate that. I just think it's a lesson learned for that individual that maybe you need to work on better understanding it, and I think he did make people take pause and think about things, not to change their mind, but I have left a number of conversations with people where I have not changed my mind or I've not changed my belief, but I had a better understanding of where they were coming from, why they feel the way they do, and why they believe what they believe, and I had a greater deal and understanding and respect for it. And I think that is, if that's the worst thing that can happen in a debate, the best thing that could happen in a debate is that you win and maybe you win someone over, right? That's the best thing
Yeah.
that but for anybody who's debating, it doesn't matter what it is. If the worst thing in a debate is that you leave, you better understand the person that you were debating and you have a deeper understanding and respect for them because they really understand and have a strong principled and belief system. If that's the worst thing, then 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 I think that's a good day. And if there's anybody who's opposed of that, if there's anybody who doesn't want that to occur, then they have different nefarious agendas, in my opinion. And I've seen people post stuff on Facebook. Like I said, I've removed a couple of people from my friends list. I don't make an announcement about it. I don't freaking say, hey, if you believe this is fun or if you think this is funny, just unfriend me now. All you at that point, then you're just asking for people just to freaking fuck with you.
Yeah, I
It's more
know. Yeah,
attention seeking than anything, in my opinion.
yeah,
But
same thing. I unfriended a few people. There's a few businesses, like in our local community that I will no longer support. There is a cigar company that I will not support. And there is a charity that I will now no longer support ever. And it's and I made that comment on one of Abe's posts, and people were messaging me, bam, like my phone lit up after that.
who?
Who, and I'm like, listen, this is me,
Yeah,
because these are my beliefs. I'm not here to debate or sway anybody into to push to not donate to this charity anymore, to not smoke this cigar, to not do business with this. These are my beliefs. I didn't like the way these people handled it, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. And then some of these people that post nothing, this is irritating me the last couple of days. All they do is post political stuff. And then I saw like 3 people post, I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was before this. Didn't you? All you do is post political stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing else in your feed.
Shut up.
And you didn't know who Charlie Kirk was? I have a hard time believing that.
I chuckle like you said when someone, to your point, there's some companies like cigar brand. Nah. I'm not looking to cancel anybody. I think at that point I'm no better than the people that I'd be criticizing, because I think that the cancel culture was absurd. I think if you choose to not support a group, a company, whatever, that's your decision. If you're trying to rally the troops, it better be pretty egregious, in my opinion. I think that I think you hit the nail on the head though, Kevin. It's um, you know, you see these folks who kind of feign, oh, who's that? Come on, dude. I'm well aware what what you're doing there. Give me a break, man. It's don't be stupid. You're not being stupid good enough to be stupid. But
I,
I mean, it is what it is.
it is what it is. There's no conspiracy behind it. There's no government action behind it. This was a kid with obvious mental health issues. So we need to address that. Do we need to address? If we need to address guns, eventually we're going to have to get into that conversation, and we're going to have to do something.
The guy had, listen, I understand that, and I agree, not to interrupt, but if it's, when you see a shooting, you see the AR and all this other stuff, everybody starts saying,
he had a hunting rifle this time.
A hunting rifle.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy in North Carolina killed that poor girl in a subway with a knife. I mean, I think really the one area that and I've said this a million times, and I strongly believe in it, and I've seen states that I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, the mental health issue needs to be addressed, and it's one area that is horribly neglected. It's a major catalyst to a lot of these events that we see, and not enough effort, not enough money, not enough support is thrown behind it, because it's easier to ban a physical gun. It's easier to write a law and push push your constituents to rally behind you, to ban a gun or whatever the case may be, to ban a cigar, because you can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it, than it is to address something that is really a, a problem that has been getting worse and worse. We see it just in our streets. We see it on the news. We see it within our own friends and family. That just needs addressed, and they won't go near it. They won't go near it because at some point in time, you're gonna have to start making definitions of mental health, and nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, you talk about the knife. Look at the UK. You got to be 21 and older to buy any knife that is 4 inches or 3 inches or bigger, and it's that's so they got rid of guns, and now they have mass stabbings. So getting rid of guns is definitely not the issue. Like I said, because people are always going to find a way.
All right. Our special guest told me I need to stall a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But
but
the one thing I wanted to bring up to you, I wanted to ask you this question because I found this comical, right? So 4 NFL teams did not do a memorial for Charlie Kirk, and boy, oh boy, everyone.
There were 4 that did not.
4 that did not. Yeah, I think it was 4, and I see that there are. I actually kind of find it, in my opinion, it's like the epitome of hypocrisy, right? So you see people posting that this is ridiculous, and then you see people posting against them, going, "Well, hey, I thought we're supposed to keep politics out of sports." And they're like, "Well, this is horrible. I can't believe that they didn't give me a memorial for Charlie Kirk." And I'm like, "Listen, both sides are. It is a bundle of hypocrisy, because yes, is it possible that a lot of these folks are asking, why didn't these 4 teams do a memorial? They're the ones who bitch and complain about keeping politics and social justice and everything out of sports. Yes, probably. But if you're someone on the other side who's saying, hey, I thought that you said we're supposed to keep politics out of sports, well, you're the one who is supporting having politics in sports. So, if you really want to boil it down to an objective belief system, the people who believe that you should keep politics out of sports should have maintained their position and maybe been mad at the other teams or voiced their opinion about the teams that did do a memorial. And the folks that have been okay with all of the politics that have been in sports, they should have been demanding that these other 4 teams join in with the other teams. And therein lies what I said earlier, is that unstable, foundation of what you believe in. Because if you believe that sports, that's a great platform, and it should be used to spread the word, it should be a political platform, it should be a social platform, then you would be all for these teams, every team, joining in and providing a memorial. If you're someone that believes that this shit needs to be removed from sports, all I want to see is someone freaking run down the football field and catch a football and tackle it, hit a home run, then you can't be upset when there's teams that are not freaking doing it because you didn't want to. And the most ridiculous thing, Kevin, that's my opinion. What say you?
Yeah, I don't know. This was a by honoring his memory. It's not introducing politics into sports, but there are people that are killed every day that don't get any recognition at all. I don't know.
It's a famous person. It's an influential person. It's just like
it's a famous person,
and
exactly. His music was played at several several arenas. You heard that during like halftime games. They're honoring Ozzy Osbourne. So I don't have an issue with people honoring or not deciding not to honor Charlie Kirk at the sports game. I'm okay with either way. I think for the most part, the NFL should stay out of politics, only because I don't want to see it. I want to see people just beat up on each other and play a game, but there, you're gonna ostracize 50% of your fan base, and that leads to ticket sales, jersey sales. If players want to, outside of the venue on their personal feed or in their personal videos, if they want to say,
Yeah,
I am a Republican, you should vote for Trump, have at it. But should they, make a statement on the field? Not at all.
no,
Not at all.
listen. If I look at it this way, especially with something like sports, right? Sports is it's an American.
Yeah.
People love their football. They love their baseball. They love their basketball, and you have both sides of the political aisle who watch these sports games. It's probably going to the sports game is where they probably forget about their politics and actually can get along, right?
Yeah.
If you're to bring in politics into sports, then you need to be honestly fair and balanced. It needs to be equal. Because at that point you need to you just need to, in my opinion. I think you need to be fair and equal. I think it's right down the middle. If you're going to freaking promote something on the right, you got to promote something on the left. If you're going to promote something on the left, you got to promote something on the right. If you really want to just be over and done with it, and not have to worry about this fair and balanced and freaking putting out a scale, then do away with it. I believe the sports. And these games, I do think it is a great platform. But I also think it's a platform that can be misused. I think it's a platform that should be used, and if used, it should be used fairly and equally. But it's like a cigar lounge. Could you imagine if you walked in a cigar? There have been some cigar lounges, very few, that it's like when you walk in, they have on a political news thing on news station, and you're like, dude, I came here to either listen to music and smoke a cigar and talk to someone, or watch sports on TV. I didn't come here to listen to Fox. I didn't come here to listen to CNN. I didn't come here to listen to MSNBC. I didn't come here to listen to Jesse Waters or Sean Hannity or freaking Don Lemon. I came here to either listen to some really bad music, or I came here to watch a sporting event, watch golf. I don't watch golf worth a shit. When I go to I go to a cigar lounge. If golf's on, I'm like, God dang, that was a hell of a drive.
Now in the past, like I said, we have had like the debates on at when I used to visit lounges a lot. Like the local lounge. It's like, hey, if anybody wants to come here tonight, or whatever night, the debate is going to be on. There be no, we'll watch the debate. Not one side or the other. And then for the most part, like there'd only be a small group of us, and we were all Republicans. So we would, we'd be able to, make fun of the other side, and there's no one else there, but there were a couple people, like we knew if they showed up out of respect, we never brought up politics at all,
right.
And we had a pastor, a preacher Joe, and he would talk about religion, when within that crowd that he knew that he could talk about religion with, so, but yeah, it was like,
well,
he was
groups that
always
do it all the time. There's groups that do that, like Bible groups will meet, and sometimes you'll see someone wander up to them. You can come down, sit down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going? Okay, so now I hear the feedback.
I hear the feedback.
I'm gonna attempt
from
the microphone. Because give me a second here. Un momento por Kevin. I need you to entertain the group. Entertain the audience while we get things ready for young Jennifer.
For young Jennifer. Let me I gotta check my 3D print. Well, I got 6 minutes. So there. All right, so he's out. So he's going to be coming back.
Can you hear me?
What is? Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm hearing myself as well.
I think the problem is I'm not going to be able to leave because I started the show.
No, you can leave.
I can leave?
Yeah, you can leave. Either one of us can leave.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
All right. Check. I'm just gonna mute him.
I think you meant leave.
Okay, check. All right, good. I muted you, Karen, in case you can hear me. You'll notice the lovely young Jennifer joining Carrie tonight. We're here to talk about if you'll remember maybe a month or so ago we had their son on Joseph. He's getting ready to head off to Tanzania for a trip. He's going to be studying abroad for a short amount of time, and he's raising some money for his trip because it's not a cheap trip, and a lot of people have not been donating, which is fine. And no, times are tough. People don't have the extra money, to send a kid that's not their own off to Tanzania. So Jennifer is here to talk about I don't know what we're going to call it. I don't think we're allowed to have raffles in South Carolina, so we're having some kind of lottery. I don't know if that's a lot. We're having a giveaway where you'll be able to buy raffle tickets and winning a fantastic prizes from a lot of manufacturers. So she's going to be here talking with us about that, how you can enter, some of the prizes that they have, and super cool. So I'm super excited to hear all the details. I know I've put her in touch with some people, and I don't know what kind of prizes she got. I know we here at Cigar Prop have donated to the prize pool. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that's all she's going to talk about. We'll figure out,
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, my point is, since I started the show, I can't leave the show.
Yeah, you can.
Like fully leave?
Yeah, you can fully leave the show, just like I can fully leave the show.
It doesn't matter. Look where we are.
Hey, yeah, I got you.
Can you see us now?
How's the sound?
I can see. I can still hear me.
I can hear you too.
I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah, the mic. Every time I plug the microphone in, it kills the camera.
Okay.
The way it's working, and unfortunately, what's
Is there
happening?
feedback then?
There's feedback for Kevin because unfortunately he can hear himself because we're using the internal microphone. I'm wondering if I use.
But
this.
can the audience hear feedback? Kevin can hear himself.
Kevin, is that a better microphone for you?
Check. Check. Yeah, I can still hear myself. I've got like a 1 second delay behind myself. Anybody in the chat panel, can they hear me twice?
How do I sound? How does this sound from this microphone? Does this sound better?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. I apologize, everyone, for
this. What about Jen?
I'm fine.
No, I was gonna hear your voice.
Oh, okay. I believe it probably sounds good.
Okay, you probably should lean forward a little bit. You're a little bit more soft spoken, so you probably should lean a little forward.
Soft-spoken? Really?
Well, maybe you're a little further away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, you need.
Is that better?
That seems better.
Okay.
That seems better.
So yeah, if anybody's watching tonight, find out as long as nobody else can hear me twice, that's fine.
We can't hear you twice.
Okay, that's good.
I can't hear you twice. I can always give you the headset so you can talk to Kevin.
No, it's fine right now.
All right.
You're going to be talking as well.
All right, well, go right ahead. This is Jennifer. Big echo on Kev. Here, put your headset on. We're not going to have any echoes this evening. There'll be no echoes. Kevin.
I don't hear anything.
That's because I didn't fucking plug it in yet. That's what happens when you have Jennifer on.
I know. See what happens? You there?
I'm here.
I can't hear. I hear Kevin.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Scooch
Very
over.
well.
All right.
Idea. Just keep going.
I'm switching.
So Kerr, do you want to join? Oh, he can't hear me anyways.
No, he can't hear you. He is. I'm not sure. We're gonna just keep going. It's me and you, Kevin.
All right. All right. So everybody echo, echo. So as long as the echo is gone, we're all good to go.
Yes, I believe so.
All right. So,
So
let me relight my cigar here because I let it go out. So how you doing, Jen? What are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking a Aganorsa leaf Maduro, and
Oh,
I
right,
have a
right on.
new Aganorsa leaf acolyte hat from an awesome company in Texas called Small Hat Company, I believe, but I probably just messed that up. The owner is Steve Long, and great like leather patch, engraved, just really well done. So I figured since Aganorsa leaf will be one of the sponsors that we'll be talking about, it would be good to wear the awesome hat and smoke a Maduro.
Right on. Is and Joseph, JJ, Brian, can everybody hear Jennifer? Okay, she's a little light on my end, but Kerr was a little light on my end as well. But everybody was saying Kerr was fine. So as long as everybody can hear Jen,
I've never been told I was soft spoken, so this would be a first.
yeah. Oh, so we're here to talk about, like, when you guys were down here, I was kind of explaining to people what we're here to talk about tonight, and that is young Joe's trip to Tanzania.
Yes.
And you're having a what was that?
Kara's just interrupting. Go ahead.
Okay, that actually sounds better. I can hear you better now.
Okay.
So he should probably put his he got his ear I see his ear pods in.
Correct.
So he can listen. So maybe if he gets real close to your microphone, we can hear him speak. So yeah, tell us about what do you got going on?
Well, I appreciate first off having me on the show. It really does mean a lot because, we all know each other. A lot of people know me as just Kara's wife or Stogie Road Jen on Instagram. But tonight I am just Joe's mom. He has quite the big story. And just going back a little bit, being in the cigar community, I've really always been enamored with how much fundraising they do, the selflessness of helping others. I'm just really coming together as a community. And to talk about Joe, he is a leukemia survivor. So not many people are aware of that, but he really went through quite something. Kara and I have been through hell and back with Joe. He has been through the good, bad, and the absolute horrible with leukemia, but is here today. And
so I want to stop you right there for a second and have you explain to people exactly what leukemia is.
Leukemia is it's not genetic. It just happens. It is a white blood cell that is not quite right. And basically it starts producing, attacking the body, and basically decimates, kills your bone marrow. And that's why leukemia patients, when they're first diagnosed, they have fevers because there's no immune system. They have a lot of bruising because the platelets in the body, which are what clots your blood, are very few and far. So they start the skin, a lot of bruising, very pale because the iron, which gives you color, is quite low. So really his blood levels are just zero. And for probably about 5 months, he had been sick. This was when he was in kindergarten. And when you're just told, it's just a germ, it's just this, you just try to believe the pediatrician that, okay, they know what they're talking about. But my background is in pediatrics with a different part of medicine. And I had witnessed a lot with oncology and kids, and it was very familiar to me. So it came to a point that Joe it was February 9th, 2012. He was as gray can be. And Joe wasn't a big child to begin with. He was quite skinny. But something wasn't right. So I called the pediatrician, said, I need a script for an order for a CAT scan from head to pelvis, with and without contrast, with IV contrast. I wanted the works. And either I'm right or the pediatrician's right. I brought him to my work, and we found out within a couple hours that he had some sort of cancer, but I knew from the report that it was going to be leukemia because he didn't have masses in his body, but the spleen was horribly enlarged due to what his blood count was. Every single lymph node from his ears all the way down through his groin were horribly enlarged. Next morning, we get him to the oncology office, pediatric hematology oncology at Prisma. And they were just kind of, it was a shock and awe. They really didn't know how he was still alive because his blood counts were that low that he just shouldn't have been here. So they immediately admitted him and they start chemo and everything. You really don't have any time whatsoever to process. And here's this 6-year-old child who had never been sick now getting poked and prodded and, God knows what was going on at that time.
So another question: what exactly is chemotherapy? Just so people know what it is and how devastating it is to like anybody, let alone a child.
Yeah. Well, chemotherapy it's systemic, so it goes throughout the body, but they are, in a sense, you could say it's poison to kill the bad. We would describe what Joe is going through the movie Osmosis Jones with Bill Murray. And it's the cartoon part where there's this virus in the body and all the good stuff is trying to fight him to get rid of the virus before Bill Murray dies. And with chemotherapy, those are your fighters. So, with taking multiple pills, multiple IVs, he had a port put in, which we called his purple heart, because when it was removed, it is actually shaped as a heart and it's purple. He even had to get spinals where a needle was put into the vertebral space and they infused chemotherapy into that space because it had to go into the CSF fluid because there could have been cancer cells within that which rotate. If you know what the CSF fluid is, it's a closed loop up the spine, over the head, back down, and it circulates around. He had to get that to make sure if there was anything there that it was killed.
So what are they putting in? They're injecting the chemotherapy. What is the chemotherapy that they're that they're putting in? You said the pills, liquid.
Probably the names of them. There's probably at least 10 to 12.
Okay. They're drugs.
They are drugs. They are
okay.
Highly toxic. When someone gets chemotherapy, the cure is worse than sometimes what you're going through at that point because it wreaks havoc on the body. But the idea is to kill the bad. And he had to get it every which way possible because with leukemia, it is a blood disease. It is not a tumor where you can take that tumor out or just have therapy right on that tumor. It is throughout his body. So he, within 2 weeks, went down to 35 pounds and was unable to walk, but he was still alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you see kids, like I said, we used to do a lot with the American Cancer Society for 10 years. We were always involved in the Relay for Life. We were heads of teams. We were sat on the committees. And that's, I think, when, Amber, when she was really young at that point, my daughter, Amber, 10 years and younger, seeing the kids that were going through that was really what spurred her, to want to get into pediatric nursing. Took her a long time. She had to deal with a lot of old people before they let her take care of the babies.
Yeah.
But that's really what spurred her into, because when you see, adults, we can, I don't know, we can suck it up. We can fight it. We've lived our lives.
Believe it or not, sorry to interrupt, Kevin. Yeah. I disagree. If you see a child going through this and you see an adult, it puts the adults to shame.
Yeah.
To watch a child go through this and, Joe, granted, his journey was miraculous and where he is now, but we witnessed that with others as well, children. Joe was 6 years old and he was never down. This actually made his faith stronger. This made his, selflessness stronger, where he just wanted to help others. He was more concerned with me and Kerr versus, what he was getting. And he knew what would happen when he got this one particular medicine, and he was okay with it because he knew in the long run, this is what I have to do. This is my journey. And, he's going to be helping others with going through this one way or another. And this is coming from a small child, and it was really just very overwhelming to watch it throughout the years, but it continues now. I work with cancer patients day in and day out. They are way more difficult than working with a child.
So did your care, maybe not care, because I know, I mean, as a mom,
I can hear you, by the way, that's why I logged in. I don't know if you can hear me well.
I
But
can.
that's
Yeah.
the reason why I logged in the way I did, so I can actually hear you live.
Oh, okay. And we can kind of hear you too. You're like a little far away, but we can still hear you. You know, as a mom, did your faith ever falter? Because
Yes.
me, that would be like that there is no God. There is no God that would take a 5-year-old and give him this disease. No.
I had no faith. I really, I had previous years struggled just to personal reasons of like, why is this happening? And, just kind of was teetering to that point. And then, because it was pretty much, years prior, just me and Joe kind of, together, and to watch him go through this, it's like, what the F, like, what the fuck is going on that you would do this to a child? And just, but then I'm watching this child be more worried about me and more worried about, his friend who's in the playroom that, really is not doing well, or, just, go see so and so's mom. And just, yeah, it took me probably many years afterwards to start getting my faith back. And I actually credit Kerr for that, because if it wasn't for him, I'd probably still, you know, be like, fuck you, I don't deserve this. I try to help people as much as I can. Why me? And I've learned, and I do believe now, that there's reasons for things that we'll never be aware of. We will never know why we walk certain paths, and there's reasons behind it, and we just don't know. But we need to get those things done, and there's going to be
Yeah.
hardships.
Yeah, it's I would be going through the same thing you're going through, but then when things like this happen, and then you hear the story of Joe, it always brings me back to Bradley Reith. We used to have these in-depth discussions about religion, and like you said, there's God always has a plan. God always has a plan, and it's like at that point you're like, there is no plan. My 5-year-old is essentially dying, and we're fighting for his life. What could possibly be your plan for this? And then you hear the story about how many people Joe have impacted. He's done fundraising since, so you look at that like, okay, so maybe God knew Joe was going to be a fighter. He was going to get through this, and then he was going to help others. So I can wrap my head around that.
God definitely knew more than what we all know. My turning point was, I was driving Joe home from an oncology visit, typical, picked him up from school, brought him in, got his lab work, checkups, the whole, shebang. And as we're making the turn, going down the road, he goes, "You know what, Mom? Cancer is a blessing and a curse. Of course, it's a curse because it's just bad. There's no way around it. But it's more so a blessing." And I thought I was going to crash into McDonald's, because I'm driving, and here he was probably about 11 years old, and he is just telling me why cancer was such a blessing in his life. His main thing was, he wouldn't be where he is today, or me, if cancer didn't happen. We wouldn't have the family that we have today if cancer didn't happen. He wouldn't have his best friends, his, schooling. He was just listing one after another of such wonderful things if cancer didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's just to hear that from an 11-year-old, you knew at that point that he's going to do something with his life. There's just something so much bigger for him, that now we're at the time to kind of sit back or step back and kind of watch where this path is going to lead him. The issue is sometimes paths aren't free and they take money. And you would think that a child leukemia survivor would be able to get scholarships and certain benefits. Unfortunately, that's not true. Even for college, you can't, because it's as competitive as regular scholarships. So it's not there. So Kerry and I, since Joe has always done fundraising for others, he every year wanted to give more to children and even seniors. We're like, it's time to do something for Joe, time to give back to him. And that's where we came up with Ashes to Africa. Let's get Joe to Tanzania.
So tell us about that name, Ashes to Africa. What is the obviously Tanzania is in Africa? What's the Ashes part of it?
The Ashes is kind of the where things ended, and now it's the renewal and the rebirth is going to Tanzania, of showing the resilience, the faith, the purpose in life. And with him being able to go to Tanzania, he's going to be immersed in a nomadic tribe for a couple days. He's able to work with the community. He's going to be schooling in there. It's just going to be such a blessing for him, and to just further his purpose in life and his education and just his just being of going there. But with everything in life, it takes funds to get over there, because nothing is covered by school. It's all out of pocket.
Yeah, it's definitely not cheap at all. What's the let's go over the giveaway here, and how we're going to do this,
Yeah.
and how people, and when does it start, how people can contribute.
Absolutely. So I have to say, it's really, again, quite overwhelming to see all the cigar companies and local companies who have donated prizes and then some. We have an amazing, probably 15 plus prize packs, prizes ranging from $250 up to $1,000. And all you need to do is donate. There will be a tier on donation levels and ticket entries that you'll get. We will be posting tomorrow my Venmo for this to go into, just because unfortunately the method I was going to use is now not available too. So we are just going to pivot and keep going forward with it. We will have pictures also of all the prize packs as well. So you can, again, Kevin, I emailed you my Venmo. We'll be posting that with all the information as well on the different social media boards. And this will continue until November 15th. We will do a live show, and we will do a drawing for the prize packs at that time.
How's it good? What's that?
Can you hear me pretty
Yeah,
well?
yeah, I can hear you pretty good.
I just want to add that being witness to a lot of what Jennifer was saying, especially Joe very early on at such a young age of taking on cancer the way he did, and how brave he was and continues to be. It actually inspired me. When I met Jennifer and Joseph, I was at um, a very pivotal point in my life, a turning point, if you will. And I kind of felt like I could have gone either way. I'm not gonna lie. And when I met Jennifer, we started hanging out, and really got along well. And then I met Joe, and I got to spend a lot of time with Joe. And we talk about things happen for a reason. At the time, I had gotten laid off, and I had free time, so I used to watch Joe, and we spent a lot of time together, several months. And I could tell you what his influence just on me as an adult male, seeing what he was going through, was very inspiring. And I know Joe likes to attribute his faith and his belief, in my influence, but I think we kind of um, helped each other, because I think he helped renew my faith and helped me take steps in the right direction. When I was wondering what the hell is God's plan, I realized maybe I had the freaking map upside down. Maybe I got to look at it differently. So, I'm really excited for the opportunities that he's been able to um, experience, because let's face it, there's a lot of folks, there's a lot of children out there who do lose their lives to cancer. Um, we've seen it happen, and it's sad. But the ones that do survive, like Joseph, we definitely want to celebrate not only his life but also honor those who have passed before us. And seeing Joe, how do I say it? He fully understands that he's been given a second chance or an opportunity, and he doesn't want to squander it. And he
Hmm.
does everything with his faith and his influence in mind.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that says a lot about you, Care, as a person, because I know I went through this kind of same, a little bit of the same thing. When you get to know Jen, you guys just meet it, and then now, oh, hey, I got a kid with cancer. I think there are a lot of guys out there to be like, yeah, it's have fun with that. Maybe give me a call in a couple of years, when he's cancer free, and if you're still single, we'll get together.
Actually, it's funny you say that. Kara actually said, "What's my superpower?" And I said, "I saved my son's life.
Yeah,
That's my
you know,
superpower."
because I
There's
know,
not a lot of people who can say that. It's very true. When
yeah,
Jennifer tells the story up front, it's detailed, but it is very telling that as parents, you know, be a parent. And one thing I learned from Jennifer was she's an advocate for her child. And when the pediatrician was saying, let's try another antibiotic, she said, fucking, this is what we're going to do. And if you don't do it, I'm going to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with Graham, Jessica's oldest. Jessica and I we hadn't been dating very long, and Graham and I went out to the Celtic Ray. I bought him lunch. We had a good lunch, and had a couple cigars. And he had mentioned, he's basically like, it's commendable. Not a lot of guys would want to be with a woman that had two kids with developmental disorders. I remember telling him, you don't think I have baggage? I could just stick around for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I Down syndrome and autism. Down syndrome and autism is nothing compared to OCD and germaphobe. Like I'm gonna show you what a disorder. Yeah. I'm gonna show you what a disorder is all about. Like I can handle that. Like, can your mom handle this? All that is this. So,
and we've
So
had,
how-
I'll tell you what, we've had a great response. And Kevin, I want to thank you because I know that you've worked. And first of all, Jennifer has been doing this. Is all Jennifer. I've helped out whatever she needed me to, give it some feedback and advisement. I know you have been a huge help, because you're well versed in this, but you've been such a great advocate on connecting Jennifer with folks within the industry. Um, you've been a giving your um, he's been you've been
Blessing me with his
blessing
knowledge
you with his knowledge,
and his influencer skills.
influencer skills, but more importantly, I think that you definitely have advocated for Jennifer and for this cause. And the feedback and what we've gotten from not only you and Jessica, which we love you guys and appreciate it, but the cigar community in itself and outside the cigar community as well. Um, the donations and what has been really coming through has been fantastic. And Jennifer mentioned we have about 15, maybe a few more. I guarantee by the time this thing we'll probably have close to 20, because I still think there's
Yeah.
a few more folks out there who are going to be donating some more stuff. But
And they're not little piddly
no,
prizes. Just to kind of name a few, we have Agnor Leaf, as I'm wearing. We will be doing the first ever virtual Puro experience with Terrence Riley. So, with your entries, you'll be entered into win this, where he will send you Puros, and you'll have some for friends as well. Don't know the exact number yet, but we will get that to you. And Kevin's going to set up a StreamYard so you guys can have a virtual one-on-one experience on smoking puros, getting the education of it. And these have only been done in events, live events, not virtually. So it's pretty exciting to see that, Agnor Salif, thank you so much for doing this. And also giving the experience to, a fan of Agnor Salif or just a fan of cigars in general to have this experience.
And to go into a little bit more on that, what she's talking about is Terrence. Him and Fabian, they do these events, and you're given tabaqueros. They're little tiny like cigarillos, but they're all one leaf. So you're getting like 5 or 6 cigars that are one specific tobacco, and you're smoking them, and then he's kind of telling you a little bit about the tobacco, like the tasting notes. And then, it's really exciting when a lot of people will smoke a puro, but it's a whole cigar from one farm, which a puro, it's all Nicaraguan tobacco. This one it's all Ligero. It's just, one leaf. And so you get to taste that, the Viso, the Seco. So it's a great experience. I've done it a couple times. Whenever there's a one of those events near us, we always go, because every time I learn a little bit more. And Terrence is just such a brilliant guy, when it comes to being able to explain tobacco and helping you learn to maybe taste a few more things out of the cigars when you smoke them.
100%. And even if you're a cigar nerd or not, the education of the blending process is really what it's all about. They'll say, here's this leaf, this is pure, smoke it. This is in the filler. Smoke this one, this is in the filler. Now smoke them together. Now smoke the cigar. And you really get to kind of walk, in a way, kind of the same path as those who blend the cigars, and why they're choosing the tobaccos they're choosing, and why they blend so well together. It's a fantastic event.
Yes, and that's just one. We have cigars that were donated from Chantel, who is Bella Dama Cigars. Her story is just fantastic. Her dad, in memory of him, he was a professional poker player. So her blends are named, in regards to playing poker. And what we're going to be doing is with the cigars that she sent, which isn't just one, there's quite a few of them. They're going to be paired up with, we have a vintage poker set with the chips included from the 1930s that the cigars will go with. That it's really hard for me to give away, but I will, because that's why we got it. And then as well as 2 sets of vintage glass ashtrays that are the suits of a card, which were from the 1950s. So it's really, to keep in honor of her dad and the spirit of her cigars, we're going to be pairing up the cigars with those 3 items.
The ashtrays are pretty cool, because they're about this big, and one is a diamond, one is a clover, one is a spade, one is a heart.
Yep.
All different colors.
From the Indiana Glass Company,
Yeah.
from back in the 40s and 50s.
The
Super
poker
cool.
set's great. So if you're a poker fan, you're gonna love these. And she was very generous with the cigar donations. I mean, we have a number of prizes that involve her cigars and everything gambling related.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Lars Teetons, the infamous Lars Teetons,
Lars
has donated 4 boxes of cigars. 2 of them are aged 40 years. The other 2 are aged 15 years. You cannot buy them in a shop. They are only for kind of some special things.
They're from his private collection.
Yeah, so it's if you've never experienced Lars Teetons, you damn well donate and have that chance too, because it is quite something. So that's pretty cool as well. We have, cigars. We have a Drew Estate prize pack with cigars, of course, and some of their merchandise. We have another awesome one is Thank You Red Meat Lovers Club. The items that they sent up, oh my gosh, it is fantastic.
What did Evan send you?
He sent a bottle of wine. I don't know anything about wine, but it looks really nice. A barbecue sauce. The mugs are fantastic.
Oh, they're great.
But the knife, oh my gosh! I showed
you got
Joe.
don't even have a knife.
I showed
Dude.
Joe on FaceTime last night the
Donate.
knife.
Could get your name in. 'Cause
Whew.
it's a beautiful
It
knife. bro.
is beautiful. It's not just a
gotta
little
look, man.
steak knife. Kara's gonna go get it. I opened it up and I was just like,
I heard my
oh
brother
my
from
gosh.
heaven freaking
Yeah.
salivate over it.
So again, thank you, Evan, for donating. It was really as we're opening the box and taking items out, and also 3 packs of cigars. The small, they're like cigarillo size. And excuse me, I don't recall the name. It has like the lips on the has butcher paper on it.
The Pico Fuerte.
Yes, thank you. I
So
knew
so
you'd know it.
those were exclusive. You can't buy
Yeah.
the Picos.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are in the prize pack as well. So you have 3 packs of those, the knife, the barbecue sauce, the bottle of wine, and the mug, the red meat.
Right on. Now,
mug.
can Kerr still hear me?
No, he may, but he's in the house grabbing the knife. I can hear him yelling from the house.
Okay, I got a good story on the that knife.
He goes, I can hear you.
So on that knife. So if anybody's unfamiliar with the Red Meat Lovers Club, you definitely got to look up the Red Meat Lovers Club. Get on their mailing list. That most of their events are here in South Florida, but they do travel. They're going to Cuba here soon. They got a couple openings left from for their Cuba trip. They got a Nashville trip coming up. They did an event at the Corvette Museum and Bowling Green. They've been to Vegas,
Yep.
so they're definitely branching out to more. But we did an event with them on the deck of the USS Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey, and there were some Navy sailors that were there, and Evan donated a couple of the knives to the sailors that was there, and he said it was a funny story because when he was looking for which knife maker that was going to make these knives, the 2 best knife makers were in Japan or Germany, and he goes, it was kind of a tough decision. We're on the Battleship New Jersey. And here I'm presenting you with a knife either from Germany or Japan. He goes, oh, that was a tough one, and it was
that makes me want to win it even more. I think Crimson Curie is going to be entering a donation in, so we could throw her in the mix.
So a few things, Kevin. First of all, I brought out a few of the prizes so we could show you. I could not bring Terrence Riley out; he would not fit in my pocket. So, an example of the ashtrays. This is the heart.
Oh, super
So
cool!
you get a full set of cards: the heart, the diamond, the spade, and the clubs. We spoke his name above a whisper.
Lars.
So these are the Lars cigars.
And there's only 1 box of that, which is hard to come by. And then there's 3 other names as well.
That's a Lars from the private stock.
Yeah,
Lars
FKG.
These are the antique chips that Jennifer was referring to. It comes in a nice carrying case, and then you pick it up.
Oh, look at that set! That is beautiful. You
It's
just imagine all the poker.
Look at the chips.
Just the
These are new cards.
just the when that was made, what was going on, who used those.
Oh my gosh!
Kevin, there I see some of these. Some of the chips
Like-
have you can see have here. Look,
So freaking cool.
Look, they have cigarette burns on them.
Oh yeah.
The stories that could tell, right?
Yeah, that's another tough one. That's hard to. Chunk is going to be entered into that one.
So Jennifer hasn't mentioned this yet, but this is what we got. Kevin, thank you for this. This is the
Yes.
Rocky Patel.
Yeah,
that was all Jessica. That was the first thing Jessica ever won in a raffle, and she had, we never used it. We only kept it on display, and that was like her cherished thing. And then when she heard about the raffle, she's like, we got to give that away because there aren't very many of those out there.
Well,
there isn't. I looked it up.
You're gonna get 10 cigars of the Rocky Patel, the 6th anniversary, the San Andreas, and then you're gonna get a bottle of Travelers, which is made at the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Yep.
And then
Oh man!
glass,
So it's a
your
fully
Rocky
stocked
Patel
case.
Cutter, Rafi Patel lighter,
two glasses.
2 glasses. I mean, this is
So
shit.
that is a prize pack in itself. That is quite nice. So here's the knife, just the
Oh,
outside of it.
Oh, I haven't. I don't think I've seen that one. Pull that out. I don't think I've seen that knife
We
yet.
will.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen that one yet.
The
'cause he's had
blade is beautiful. It says AG on the other side.
Get in there.
Yeah. Wow.
It's freaking beautiful.
Red meat lovers there.
Yeah.
I mean, the freaking handle is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, this, oh, like I said, when I pulled that out, I heard my brother go, I'm in.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just a few of the prizes
Yep.
that,
We have Wolfpack Cigar Club sending up a package. Big Sky Cigars has committed to sending a prize pack. We have local people. Torch Cigar Pub has donated. Potts Old Country Barbecue has donated. I know.
Cardick of
Oh, yes.
Boiling Springs and Wine has donated a $150 gift certificate.
Yep.
You can shop his, you can buy his cigars online. He's on Facebook. Cardick, Kevin, you were there.
Yeah.
Dude, the man's selection in that humidor
I
is
love it.
ridiculous, and he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yep.
And he was just like, "Yep, sounds good. Boom, here's a gift card."
And if you like boutiques, that's the place to
Yeah.
go. My God, it's just a extravaganza of shopping.
Who else did you mention?
Um,
Potts, their barbecue sauce.
Yep.
They're another local group, another local company. Just super great people. It's one of those folks, Kevin, we talk about supporting locally. They are definitely one of the companies that always respond. They always support us. Highly interactive.
Yeah. Torch Cigar Pub
Pub is fantastic. They got two great. They donated 2 Guinness glasses, and Jen goes, "I don't know." I said, "Man, those are another ones." I'm like, "I want to keep those Guinness glasses. Those are
Yeah.
they're freaking awesome." So they've donated a lot of, not like I said, not only the cigar community, but we have a number of local companies that have really participated and joined in without even a pause.
Yeah. And what's great is our goal is $4,500, 4,500. Once we hit that goal, which I know we will, every dollar after that is going to be donated to Joe's clinic, to the nurses, doctors that saved his life. We want to give back to them, whether they need money for the outpatient clinic, whether it needs to go to the inpatient side, whether it's Christmas gifts for the patients. Every dollar over $4,500 will be donated to Prisma's Hematology Oncology Group, Pediatrics.
So let's go like a few more details about how people are going to be able to enter, and then like the money, like what's it cost, like a raffle ticket. You buy multiples. You said there's going to be tiers.
Correct.
So let's say a little bit more details.
So the tiers are going to be, it's going to be 25. You could donate any amount you like. Obviously, every dollar helps. But for raffle tickets or for entry tickets, it is $25. You'll get 1 entry. $50. You'll get 3 entry. $100. You'll get 6 entries. $250. You'll get 20 entries, and then $500 you get 50 entries. So you can really kind of clean up, obviously, the more you donate. And with having to kind of change things up a little bit before I came on, we'll be posting my Venmo, which will be the best way to capture the donations. This way you can also leave your contact information so we can contact you upon winning. The prizes will be announced, and we will do the live drawings on November 15th, so 2 months from today.
So when people enter, they're entering. Are they entering for a general? You're going to go one by one, or can people like they just want the knife? Can they enter?
No, I think that would be a little. As much as it would be great to say, okay, you can put in this tickets for Aganorsa Leaf. I think that may be a little more difficult. I don't know. I'd have to ask Kara that. Originally, it was just going to be kind of all in one, and then we would have maybe pull one ticket and have a bag, or pull for what prize we're going for, and then the next pull is the winner. Unless people do want to specify. I don't know, Kara. I didn't think about that one. Thanks, Kevin. Specifying donations for a specific gift.
I think you'd have to advise the Grand Wizard there.
Yeah,
Because at that point, you'd almost, I mean, because based off of the prize's value,
Yeah.
you would have to have a minimum buy-in in order to be
it would definitely be tough because you'd have some
Really
people that say
tough.
I don't care what I win,
Yeah.
and then other people like, hey, I just want the knife.
Yeah.
and
Like they're all
then-
great prizes, and if
Yeah.
you're going to get something good and get cigars, and like I said, the minimum
Especially
value we have is $250.
Especially
So
with your entries, I mean, where either pulling tickets or spinning the wheel, you're going to have multiple opportunities to win based off the number of tickets that you get based off of your donations. So just by default, if you donate more, you get more tickets. I think if you really wanted to get into, it would almost be like a silent auction. You
Yeah.
almost say for the Terrence Riley, you have to at least donate $1,000. Well, if nobody donates $1,000, then Terrence is going to be sitting there by himself with his khaki pants on at a freaking, at a Zoom call, smoking some puros. We don't want that. We don't want Terrence to do that. We don't.
That makes sense.
because that did cross my mind of saying, like, well, what if someone wants to outright buy a prize pack? Like they're like, I want that, the Belladama cigars and the poker chips, because that would be awesome in my collection of whatever, but I think that would just, it needs to, I'd like to see more opportunities for people than just buying
If
outright.
you donate $4,500, I think you'll find a way for your ticket to win
Yes,
that prize.
that is true.
So
You can contact us via email or DM.
I kid hard.
I'm not kidding.
But I think that is the challenge. But I think right now, with the way you have it set up and the donations and the giveaways, it's not a raffle.
No, it's a giveaway. Appreciation giveaway for your
For
donation.
your donations. It definitely sets the stage for you to win some great prizes, and more importantly, really, Joe's for being, a young gentleman. He's been around the cigar community for some time.
Yeah.
Anytime I've had a shipment come in, he's always helped me, unload it. When we had some challenges, Kevin, we had a uncellophane cigars, he uncellophane cigars. When we had a recellophane cigars, he recellophane cigars. When we had our bundles and we put some cigar bands on them for golf events, he put cigar bands on cigars. And he always talks about, wanting to go through college and get his business degree in international business, because he wants to take over the business and he wants to get involved in the cigar industry when he graduates. So, he's gone and he's done events with me and has supported me all along the way. So, for someone who's that involved in this community for as long as he has been, as well as giving back to the team that treated him and saved his life, I think this is a great way, to kind of thank Joe and help him with his future endeavors. And then, as Jen said, once we crest that amount, every dollar goes towards the Prisma, hematology oncology pediatric floor. And we've done something for them every year.
Yeah. Last year, Joe, before he started his first year in college, he wanted to do something special for the kids of his clinic. So we had a Lego fundraiser where instead of donating money, people donated Lego sets. We ended up,
That was ridiculous.
our dining room was full, and we had to bring cart after cart up to the outpatient area, and the nurses were just so, in tears to see how much we did and how much Joe did for, the children there, because, when you're going through it, mom and dad want to be there, but then if you're not there, you're not working. So how can you afford to buy a little gift, or, a kid, just needs some sort of uplifting. And Legos was always Joe's go-to. Legos we still play with. Your imagination goes into that, and anything from a small box to a $500 box, it doesn't matter. It's just the smile it brings on a child. It was pretty amazing to see.
We had some crazy Lego sets.
Oh my
We had
God,
some Lego sets that I was like,
insane.
this may find its way up in my room, man. It was.
Yeah.
There was some cool Lego sets that we got a great response from. But like Jennifer said, I think the one thing that everyone that you hear about the diagnosis, you hear about the treatment, you hear about the journey. What you don't hear about is the sleepless nights, the missing of work, the impact it has on the whole family, the not eating at home, not making dinner at home because you're always in and out of the clinic. And every little bit helps that you get from the community, whether it's, food that's donated, whether it's, Legos where, when there is some downtime and the kid gets to sit there and build something, anything to distract, anything to take them away, from what they're experiencing is always helpful. And there's a deeper side to it that I think you said it best is when he's diagnosed, it's like you get this big bolus of support, and then nothing. But you're still left, the child's still left, the family's still left with dealing with it, because the treatment is for girls it's 3 years, and for boys it's 3.5 years.
Yeah.
If you really want to know the difference between a boy and a girl, this is a great explanation. Is the boys, the cancer tends to hide in the testicles. So what do they have to do? They actually have to treat them a little bit longer to make sure that they get all the cancer out
Yep.
of them.
And then you need to go 5 years after that. So it's not something where you'll see, not to downplay other cancers, but it's a year or a couple months. It's quite involved, and going into it, you were just happy when you woke up the next day, and you just had to take it a day at a time. And it was just a very dark tunnel. And then before we knew it, the light was starting to shine. And to look back now, it's a little surreal. There's things that I remember strongly. There's some things that are a little blurry, but to go through that and to be where we are today is really, it is a gift and an absolute blessing.
But even after he was done with treatment, and this is the other side that I think a lot of people see that I really got to witness and felt myself is, he finishes his last pill. We are the champions. He's how many pills, how many days? And it's like, okay, well, now you got to go. Was it once a week? Once a week for a year. And then afterwards, it's once every other week for a year. And then once a month for a year. And they draw labs every single time. And every single time, Jennifer's holding her breath. She's thinking the worst. Even after you're finished with treatment, that anxiety still lingers for years afterwards, because you're just waiting to hear that this monster's returned. And after you kind of put that in your rearview mirror, you got to have faith, and you got to move forward in faith. It takes some time, because at that point it's like PTSD.
Yeah. To be honest, watching Joe walk in graduation, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. It was a day of just pure reflection, and just it wasn't it. I didn't think it was even possible.
I sent you a picture in Bullies, Kev. I didn't get a chance to upload it prior to the show, and then when obviously our technical difficulties hit the road or hit the fan. This was something that I think is, in my opinion, I think very speaks.
Yeah, I should get him a shirt that said, if you didn't have leukemia, did you even have cancer, bro?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, all right, to wind down the show. So tomorrow on your social media, you're going to post it, and then if you could
and I'll
if
share
you
it to you.
Yeah, share it to me, and you'll have all the pictures and everything.
Correct.
So
We'll have some of the pictures ready for you, but all the information on the giveaways, the Venmo QR code,
all right.
what the tiering is, and we will absolutely list the prize. The pictures themselves may take a little bit longer because Kara and I are heading to Yellowstone on Wednesday for a couple days.
Okay.
So it'll definitely by early next week have all photos to you, but we'll do our best to get at least some of them tomorrow.
Yep, and then we'll repost those, and then I'll get those out in my newsletter on which goes out every Sunday. So we'll get those out as well. So
I appreciate it.
And then when I get the links, I'll come back. Just remind me, and I'll put in the show notes down below, in the podcast description, the link to where you can donate, and all the prizes and everything else. So we'll get that in the show notes. So anybody listening or watching tonight, come back in a day or so. If you think about it, and then we'll get those. That link will be down there in the description, so you can get that. So, all right, I think that's all we got for tonight. It's been, that's been. I think we got everything. Or it's 2 hours 6 minutes already, man. We've talked about a lot tonight. So, as always, follow Cigar Prop, Stogie Road Cigars, Fog Box. Just linked in description. There's all that stuff down there. So follow, like, comment, share, do what you got to do. So
don't forget the party music, Kevin, to make sure that we know when we're signed off.
Yes, exactly.
Be a little hard.
And then all right, so we will see everybody next Monday night for another episode of the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite.
Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. Yes, Kevin and Herb, grab your seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Herb with stories in mind.